switch off. Let me switch to an overview of what we can do in the longer term if we achieve those type of goals. As I said earlier on, the current energy system is segregated. What we need to do is decarbonize systematically the energy system. Andrew Weaver showed this before. When we're moving from coal to oil, as we did during the Industrial Revolution, during the turn of the 20th century, and as we move from oil to propane and from propane to natural gas, we're doing well because we're increasing the hydrogen to carbon ratio. So per unit energy, we're emitting less CO2. Okay? And conceptually, this takes us to hydrogen, which has no carbon. So with these energy chains, we see that we have pathways that are carbon intensive. We have also pathways that are less carbon intensive. Okay? We can preferentially decide to use all of these pathways. So we eliminate crude oil, we use wind, hydro, geothermal, nuclear power, etc., just to clean water or for any of the residential services. Okay? How do we do this for the transportation? We need to address transportation. Transportation is responsible for a very large portion of the CO2 emissions. And it's likely to become more so as the world becomes modernized. Well, the way to do it is to produce hydrogen, and hydrogen as an energy carrier married with fuel cell technology could in the long term allow us to also decarbonize the transportation system. That's really the vision that we have. The advantage there is potentially twofold. If you look at an internal combustion engine, the amount of energy that comes from the gasoline that actually goes to driving your wheels is only about 22%. In fact, when you're in an urban cycle, it's even less than that because you're idling a lot of it. And the rest is just waste. If you look at fuel cell technology, fuel cells are inherently more efficient, so that you end up with about 1.5 times of the energy actually going to the wheels. So that in turn translates into great savings. Okay? In addition, if your hydrogen has been produced from clean sources, you have a double advantage. So that's really the promise of hydrogen and fuel cells. Fuel cells is a technology that exists, that works, that's been demonstrated. The issues still abound with it, and I'll talk about them very briefly. But this shows a fleet of hydrogen fuel cell buses that was deployed in 97 in Chicago and Vancouver and ran for a couple of years. We now are dealing with the next generation buses. The Europeans have a program called the CUTE program, where they've completed the deployment of buses in 10 European cities that are all fuel cell hydrogen buses, and they're functioning and operating. Motorized bicycles is an area where fuel cells could have an impact, particularly in Southeast Asia. There's a lot of applications that have seen fuel cell power for standby power generation, for example. This is a completely renewable house, and in fact it's very similar to one of the laboratory concepts we have here at UVic that's called IRENE, the Integrated Renewable Energy Experiment, which allows you to essentially capture renewable energy either from the sun or the wind and use it when you need to use it and store it when you have excess of that, so that you can bring it back on stream when at night or when the wind is not. Every car manufacturer in the world has a fuel cell development program. Okay, whereas 10 years ago it was Daimler, Chrysler, now every one of them